Hello, it's Kadisha. I'm back with another video. Today we have to be bold. We have to have a sense of security to where we're not allowing people to walk all over us. And this is, I want to say easier said than done, but it's also a fine line because sometimes we can get on the side to where we just act out of rage and yelling and screaming and things of that nature. And it's like, no, we have to take a more calm approach to things. And I actually talked about this. I think it was, I can't actually remember the name of it. If it was something about the fruit of the spirit or allowing the Lord to lead or something like that. When I actually talked about a story where this lady was just being really just mean and I want to say nasty, but just not being nice when I pulled up to the wrong place. And she was just so rude. And I saw her the next day and I walked up to her and started talking to her. And she looked very confused and looked scared and all the above. And it's just like, well, yesterday you were just talking to me down. Why are you not talking that way now? And it's because you feel, of course, that you were wrong, but now you don't feel emboldened to do what you did because that was not right. And the Lord is allowing me to realize these subtle, I don't want to say subtle, I was going to say subtle advances, but maybe that's the word I'm looking for. These subtle actions where people are just acting out and thinking that it's okay. And of course, the Lord talks about turning the other cheek, but we have to be a people who stand up for yourself, be bold and be confident, because it's not okay for somebody to walk all over you. That's never going to be an okay thing. And I just realized, and the Lord, like I said, the Lord is just opening my eyes because I was at the grocery store the other day and I got to see this cashier that I've seen a couple times before. Very, nice person. And I guess you kind of have to be nice. You're working as a cashier at a grocery store. So, yeah, you can be mean, but that won't last too long because you're working with people. And we had a conversation like probably the week before or something. I was like, oh, just having a casual conversation. We're human beings. But this day in particular, someone was in front of me and they were trying to get a sales item out of the paper, and when they rung up their items, it wasn't correct. So they were telling the person, like, that's not correct, which is a whole nother story. You got to make sure that your stuff is what it is because you want to make sure you're getting the best deal. And anybody can make a mistake. And so you got to make sure, like, no, this is what it says. Get what's yours, get what the paper says. But that's another story too. So the person was trying to get that figured out. And I understand. So I was like, the person's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, you're fine. You're fine. I'll get your sale. That's how I am. And so they got finished and it was my turn. And I had some items that were half off. I got a couple items that were half off. And the thing that the way they do it is like you don't just scan the half off tag. You have to scan the regular tag and then scan the half off. And so I got two different items, and one was a price, and one, but both of them were different prices, but they all were like the same item. So I told the person, I was like, oh, that's because they actually rung up one and they couldn't see the tag for the one that was different. It was like a different brand or something. And so they were like, well, they were just going to use the other one. And I was like, well, I think that's a different price. And so I looked at it and it was like 70 cents. I think it was like 70 cents different, which really didn't make a difference to me. I was like, oh, that's not different. It was like, yeah, it's not that much different. And I'm like, after, I'm thinking, it ain't about how much different it is. You just went all through this paper chase for this person, but this is an item that is clearly on sale and it's the wrong thing, and you're going to tell me because it's just a little bit different. It's different if I say, it's different if I say, oh, that's a little bit different. So this is my money that I'm paying. And that person is, like, are you sure? Or something like that. It's not like, oh yeah, it is just a little bit. And it's like, hold on, you don't get to say that. And after, I was just thinking, Lord, I probably should have reacted a little bit different than what I did. But it's just subtle little things that are happening that I'm like, okay, all right, There's one strike. One strike for you, not for everybody. Because everybody get their own strikes. But I got to be more attentive to the way that I'm going to act. Because, no, you don't get to tell me that that's just a little bit. I get to tell you that. You don't get to tell me that because I'm at this store. So I know what I want to pay for stuff. When that clearly has a different price, you know? And so, of course, I didn't make a big deal because, like I said, it wasn't that much different. Like, if it was, you know, $20 or something, maybe I would have said something. And not even $20. Now, if it was $1, let me not act. Because I'm buying this because I want the sale, the sale price. Of course, I want it, but if it's on sale, then yeah, I want the sale price. But yeah, it just made me like, okay, is this person just irritated because of that other person and you're acting toward that, acting that way toward me? Or are you just acting that way toward me because that's just who who you are? And of course, I'm not going to read into it because I don't really care. You're like, well, you don't care. You're making a video about it. It's like, I don't care about like how you felt in that moment. I care about how I care, how I felt in the moment. It's just like, okay, what are you trying to say here? So you said, okay, Kadisha, why are you making this video? So that you're intentional with the way that not only you're being talked to, but the way that people are, the way that you talk to people, because you could be the person who is the cashier in this sense. And so we have to make sure that we're treating people, of course, the way we want to be treated, but also when someone is not treating you the way you want to be treated, you tell them in a way that lets them know, like, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to treat me that way because that's not okay. And I'm here to not cause confusion. I'm here to set the captives free because no person is better than any person. And we can't allow people to dictate the way we live our life because they feel superior or you feel inferior. It's like, no, we're all equal according to the word of God. So it's just like we have to make sure that we're walking in a way that's confident and also speak in boldness. When someone is doing something that is not right and the Lord is put it on your heart to, let them know, let them know. Let them know. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, be confident, be bold, but allow the Lord to lead you in every step of the way because, hey, it's some separations about to happen. And I believe the Lord is just calling us to be confident in what he's called you to because he has a great purpose for your life. And it's just going to have to let people know, like, I'm here. Whether you want to address it or not, I am here. Whether you like it or not, I am here. And so I'm going to live my life not unashamed or down because you feel a certain way, but I'm going to let you know when you're not right and you're not acting in the way that is okay to God or okay to me. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like I always say, saca mi que quieres ver en otros. Until next time, bye.